Marcia in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hey, Marcia, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I lived in Europe for over 14 years, Germany and Austria. They got unisex bathrooms. They got, they got billboards with topless women. The midsection of the newspaper every day is a topless woman. They show naked people on TV. What is the deal with the idiocy of the Republicans?
It is
There's no limit.
Yeah, this is a particular disease that is and people who have not lived in Americans who have never lived on continental Europe don't know what you and I are talking about, Marcia. But the fact of the matter is that Queen Victoria, who ruled England in the 1900s, in the 1800s, the 19th century, was really sexually uptight and promulgated this idea that, women shouldn't show their ankles, they shouldn't show their wrists, that people had to be modest. They changed the way that people bathe, clothed for swimming and things like that. I mean, it's just all this basically sexual hysteria that came out of the Victorian era, to the point that, we call it Victorianism. And that infected the United Kingdom and the United States, but it didn't infect the rest of continental Europe. So the rest of continental Europe pretty much doesn't care. It was like, when I can't keep my French presidents straight, but I think it might have been, it wasn't de Gaulle's funeral. It was the guy who followed him. When he died, the next president or prime minister of France or president of France, whatever the title is, was at the funeral, standing there at the graveside with his wife's hand in one hand and his mistress in his other hand. I mean, in a state function. I mean, remember that? That was like 15 years ago? And it's
when I was stationed in Vienna, I worked at the embassy during Michael Huffington Sr. And it was a very interesting time because the wall had just come down and the Slovak Republic and Czech Republic had just split, and I got to put in the embassies there. But the head of Austria had a mistress. Everybody knew. Nobody cared.
Right.
Just ruled the country.
Right.
Just governed. And my kids grew up naked in the summertime. All the kids in the village grew up naked. Oh,
that was the thing. When we moved back to the United States after living in Germany for a year, our youngest was 6 years old. And 6-year-olds, as you know, 6-year-old girls on continental Europe in the summer go topless. They don't go bottomless, but they go topless.
So do adults.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But in this story, I mean, we came back to a suburban Atlanta neighborhood. We were living in Marietta, Georgia, in a nice little suburb, on the end of a cul-de-sac and all that kind of stuff. And our daughter started running around topless in the summer. We had a pool in the backyard. And one of the neighbors complained that our 6-year-old was topless. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. We're back in the United States where people are paranoid about this. Yes, they have unisex bathrooms in Europe, and we could end up with unisex bathrooms in the United States as a result of all this brouhaha. But that's sort of like our ending up with deciding that there's a wider range of ID that you need to use to vote. There was not a voter fraud problem, so there doesn't need to be a voter ID law, and there is not a problem. I mean, of people pretending to be transgender in order to be predators. It's a non-problem that the Republicans in Houston hatched to get Republicans to the polls, and they are going to use it next year. Mark my words. To get people to the polls in a big way. This is going to be the new Willie Horton. This is going to be the new gay marriage. This is going to be the new gun control. This is, Marcia, thank you for sharing your story. It's brilliant.